Good evening, I'm Britt Clennett in Hong Kong and welcome to ViuTV News. Coming up on tonight's show. The first day of the Belt and Road Forum kicks off. We take you for an inside look into new pledges on infrastructure initiatives. Japan condemns North Korea for launching another missile into nearby waters, saying they are threatening the country's security. And finance leaders from the Group of Seven vowed to cooperate on fighting cyber attacks as the massive ransomware hack shows no signs of slowing down. Well, Chinese President Xi Jinping has pledged an extra $113 billion in funding for Beijing's Belt and Road Initiative in his keynote speech at a two-day summit for the Global Trade Plan. At the so-called Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation, Xi met with world leaders from some 28 countries, among them Russian President Vladimir Putin, who some say took aim at the US with his speech warning against rising protectionism. China is hoping to woo countries on board the trade and investment plan, which was unveiled back in 2013. The Chinese leader stressed the project is not about geopolitical games, but critics say it's bound to be navigated by Beijing's interests.
China is willing to develop friendly cooperation with all participating countries for the Belt and Road Plan under the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence. China is willing to share our development experience, but will not interfere in internal issues of other countries. China will not export or force to promote social systems or development formats to others.
New French President Emmanuel Macron has promised to restore France's standing in the world as he was officially inaugurated in Paris.
Monsieur le Président de la République.
Becoming the country's youngest leader at 39 years old, Macron promised to create a strong and confident France. He said the world needs a France which speaks out loudly for freedom and solidarity. Macron said that under his leadership, the country would prioritise innovation and competition. He also vowed to heal divisions in society. Well, after multiple failed attempts to launch ballistic missiles in the past 2 months, North Korea launched another one this morning that missed the Japanese waters. Japan's defense minister said based on the altitude reached at an estimated 2,000 kilometres, North Korea may have fired a new type of missile. The projectile came days after the inauguration of South Korea's President Moon Jae-in, who promised to engage in dialogue with Pyongyang. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe called the North's repeated launches totally unacceptable and that they pose a great threat to the country's security.
Once again, North Korea has launched a ballistic missile despite strong warnings from the international community. This is unacceptable. We strongly protest. These repeated North Korean missile launches are a great threat to our nation and a clear breach of the United Nations Security Council resolution.
Well, the failed missile test comes as North Korea announces it will mop up terrorism amid claims Pyongyang foiled a biochemical attack against its leadership. The comments were made by North Korean Deputy Foreign Minister Han Song-rol in a briefing to foreign envoys in the North Korean capital. Last week, state media accused the US and South Korea of carrying out state-sponsored terrorism against the North, saying foreign intelligence agency had infiltrated the country.
We will begin an anti-terrorism mop-up operation of our own way.
Well, South Korea's new president, Moon Jae-in, condemned the latest launch as a provocation and warned that dialogue between the two Koreas is only possible when Pyongyang shows a change in attitude. During a phone call with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, Moon reportedly underlined the importance of leaving any tensions in the past in order to effectively deal with North Korea's missile threats. The two leaders vowed to work closely together and hold bilateral talks to combat the issue. The alliance comes as a relief to Japan, which had concerns that Moon would bring their country's long-standing political feuds to the forefront.
In order to deal with the North Korea missiles issues and also for the advancements of both countries, we need to join efforts regardless of past problems.
Financial ministers from the Group of Seven continue their two-day meeting in Italy as they vow to strengthen cooperation on combating global cyber threats. According to a draft statement, they are calling for more effective assessments of cyber security, financial firms. This comes a day after a massive cyber attack hacked thousands of computers in nearly 100 countries with a ransomware named WannaCry. Britain's health system, which suffered a great disruption because of the attack, has seen most hospital systems recovered, but they are not letting their guard down yet.
I'm a little concerned because we don't quite know what we're going to find on Monday morning when people come in and open up their laptops. But I think we've got sufficient understanding of the nature of the problem that we can be very confident that we can solve whatever does come along on Monday morning.
Well, earlier we spoke with cybersecurity expert Michael Gaisley, who sees a significant ransomware attack here in the city. He warns people to be cautious of opening emails when returning to work on Monday.
The most attacked client that we've had, that we've seen in Hong Kong was actually attacked 1,147 times, and those attacks rained down from 41 different countries. So this is one of the most significant ransomware attacks that we've ever seen. It's historic in a bad way. And we're now looking at round two, where new variants are coming in, which don't have this kill switch.
Well, here in Hong Kong, Computer Emergency Response Team Coordination Centre has recorded two similar attacks over the weekend. IT sector lawmaker Charles Mock recommended that those affected not pay the ransom and urged people to step up preventative measures.
International security, information security community has discovered other forms of malware, other forms of ransomware that applies to other operating systems as well. This does apply to any operating system, even though this particular attack only relates to Windows.
Well, coming up next, the latest from the world of business. Well, Germany's economy picked up speed at the start of the year thanks to higher domestic and government expenditure, a rise of investment and strong exports. As David Pollard reports, that could be good news for its Chancellor Angela Merkel.
A 0.6% jump in Q1 GDP is Germany's best performance in a year and could, say analysts, put it into top gear. Just as the Eurozone too has revised up its growth outlook. The bloc as a whole now expected to hit a rate of 1.7% this year, as Germany did in the last quarter. Some worried that it could be going too fast, while others not.
We know that their economy is very adaptive compared to many other major economies around the world. So whilst I would say that it's looking impressive, I would not be that concerned about the risk of it overheating too soon.
It's vindication, say fans of QE, of the ECB's massive €2.3 trillion stimulus programme, if critics say it should be eased back. But according to ECB chief Mario Draghi this week, it's too early to declare success. According to his deputy, loose policy for longer is less risky, though a policy shift is perhaps not that far away.
I think that we're still in the sort of balancing act phase. I think the ground is being prepared, in other words, for the time when we do get that pretty clear signal.
And other Eurozone economies do still lag. France with just a 0.3% growth rate in Q1, Italy forecast at just 0.2%.
We're still on shaky ground. I think there's a few success stories there. We need to see more.
For Germany, a bigger economy doesn't necessarily mean bigger investment. Its finance minister ruling out extra spending when he spoke on Thursday, but making some room for tax cuts.
A moderate relief of small and middle incomes is possible and appropriate.
Good news for German households and for the German Chancellor and her governing party as they head towards a federal election in September.
General Electric is making a multi-billion-dollar bet that digital technology will transform its factories, generate new revenue and boost profits. Conway Gittins has the story.
General Electric is making a $4 billion bet on the digital revolution and bringing it right to the factory floor. Reuters correspondent Al Scott has seen the emerging technology firsthand.
Centerpiece is Predix, this operating system they've built that, pulls in data from all sorts of machines that are running and can combine it with other data and figure out how to run the plant more efficiently. Predix and these applications can actually monitor, and they'll say, well, this drill bit in this milling machine that makes parts for an aircraft engine is actually showing that it's running, hot. It's hotter than normal. It's up, 20 degrees. and that suggests that it's about to break.
And then without any human interaction, the part can be ordered, therefore avoiding a long and costly shutdown of the entire assembly line. The same could be done for repairing larger items like airplane engines and train locomotives. That kind of digital automation could go a long way in saving time and money, not only for GE, but also for its customers. CEO Jeff Immelt is pushing ahead with the transformation, but not all of his investors are buying into the digital factory revolution. But GE is going to have to keep on spending to keep up with others like IBM and Siemens, which are also doing the same thing. And with GE's stock an underperformer since Immelt took over in 2001, some investors would rather see a stock price revival than a digital revolution they can't take to the bank.
Well, in other vehicle-related business news, Fiat Chrysler is recalling 1.2 million Ram pickup trucks. The car maker says it needs to fix a software error that can disable airbags and seatbelts inside the vehicles. Fred Katayama has the story.
Fiat Chrysler is recalling more than 1.25 million Ram pickup trucks worldwide. It needs to address a software glitch linked to reports of 1 death and 2 injuries. The erroneous code could temporarily disable the side airbag and belts. A company spokesman said the likelihood of an incident was very low, but the company will reprogram computers in the affected vehicles. He added that there is no definitive proof the error was involved in 2 accidents, but the automaker was conducting the recall proactively. The recall will start in June. Brian Moody of Auto Trader.
What's significant is there's obviously a large number of vehicles involved. That's the first thing. The second thing is that it's going to be a very narrow spectrum of people that this is going to affect. And because they're trucks, it could happen when you're taking your truck off-road, which is something that people who buy trucks often like to do.
Fiat Chrysler isn't the only one having problems with software. In September, General Motors recalled nearly 4.3 million vehicles worldwide due to similar issues.
Well, do stay with us. There's plenty more to come on the show. From flowers in their bunches to dim sum lunches, we look at how Hong Kong families are celebrating Mother's Day. Don't go away.